truck still looks fake.
Hi, friends. Goldie Wilson III for Wilson Color Conversion Systems. You know, when my grandpa was mayor of Hill Valley, he had to worry about traffic problems. But now, you don't have to worry about traffic. I'll color convert your old road car into a Skyway Flyer for only $39,999.95. Come on down and see me, Goldie Wilson III, at any one of our 29 convenient locations. Listen, she will fly.
Welcome to the 21st century and welcome back to the future as predicted on the 21st of October 2015 by our characters in Back to the Future. So, who's from the era, the same age, the same country? No one. Come on. Who lived to 1980, 1990? Yes. And who followed the Back to the Future series? Yes. And how did we do?
Where the hoverboards at?
We did.
They have wheels.
So coming back to
we got the chick in the end.
You did. Happy for you. Welcome everybody. We're going to talk about a little bit about the technology that we predicted we're going to have in the future. Well, the future is now. The future is us human beings, very much our technology layer, and we're coming together and making this a practical element. So coming down to the theory and the topic of Back to the Future, for me it was going back on a lot of the movies that I enjoyed as a child and comparing them to today's technology that's available. And there was really much a comparison if we look at what was predicted to come in on artificial intelligence, robots, all the engagements that we have within a mindset, the emotional factor. And it comes down to very much what did we end up today. So taking the past and plugging it into the future and see how did you do. So we're moving to the next favorite show that I've got on board. And that is Kick and the Half. Who remembers Night Rider? You do. It was all about the car. Never mind the girl this time around. What about the car? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at how Kick and Half very much changed our artificial intelligence view in the future. And we're going to look at some disruptors in the market that's driving these changing technologies and the stack of companies that's very much just popping up across the board in making real business sense for us. We're going to look at some digital transaction or transforms, very much the exponential change element coming into our life, how we're driving that. We're going to do a little bit of an amazing race. So I need 3 volunteers, start thinking about it. And then the future of technology and humanity. That's just to bring us back to the core. Who we are, from a human being point of view, how do we express and how do we understand, how do we build a technology stack from there. So let's start with our next movie clip.
Milton in Silicon Valley, 110 miles. All right. Might as well put on some music. All these weird gadgets, you think they'd give you a radio? What would you like to hear? What the hell was that? Do you wish further information on Silicon Valley? I want to know who you are and how you're listening in. There's no reason for increased volume. I am scanning your interrogatives quite satisfactorily. I am the voice of Night Industry 2000's microprocessor, KITT for easy reference. The kit if you prefer. No, I don't prefer. And what's more, I don't intend to drive around in a car that talks back to me. So either Devin pulls your plug, or you get yourself another truck.
So already in 1980 we had the past, very much artificial intelligence making that interaction with us. So the communication and the speech level was definitely arranged. And what it comes down to is very much where are we today? And it all comes down to the fact of we all played silent set while we were children. We all heard about Google and we got information about that. These days we're all talking to Siri. Now, you can ask Siri basically any question, but you really need to want to know the answer. So what it comes down to is very much when Apple launched Siri, it was in order to compete with your social media networks. The bots that were built to bring the artificial intelligence and drive the collaboration. But Siri was very much a build, and last year developed to be a SDK for implementation or integration to any of the third-party applications. So if you want to order your pizza, or you want to open a WeChat message, and very much send your message through to your audience or to an individual recipient, you know your engagement with Siri definitely changed. So what I want to do here is very much just play you how Apple launched the Siri SDK approach, and just a very much excitement with our platform to make sure that integration platforms, media platforms has very much extended from there.
Now in iOS 10, Siri is going to be able to do so much more because we're opening up Siri to developers. Now you'll be able to ask Siri things like, send a WeChat to Nancy saying I'll be 5 minutes late, and Siri can summon up the WeChat UI right inside of the Siri environment. Now, of course, Siri, because it understands the domains of things like messaging, it allows you to say things in so many different ways. I could have said, WeChat Nancy, that I'll be 5 minutes late, or I need to send a message to Nancy via WeChat saying I'll be 5 minutes late. And I can do that in all sorts of different languages. But because now in iOS 10, we have an intense API, it allows Siri to take on that part of the work and lets the extension do what it does best, like messaging. And so now we support messaging with apps like Slack and WhatsApp, and of course WeChat. You can do things like ride booking in Siri with services like Uber, Lyft, and Didi in China. Photo search in apps like IM, Shutterfly, and Pinterest. And you can pause and stop your workouts in apps like Map My Run, Runtastic, and Runkeeper. And even do payments to send money to friends with things like Number 26, Square Cash, and Alipay in China. And do VoIP calling through apps like Cisco Spark, Vonage, and Skype. And it works great in the car as well, because with CarPlay, you can now safely send your messages as well as make VoIP calls all inside the CarPlay environment with your favorite apps. And that's a quick update on Siri.
So coming back to Siri, I definitely think it was built into our Night Rider car. Definitely in some artificial intelligence when we get to Back to the Future, because those cars were all interacting with us and very much understanding us on an emotional level. We're going to look at the disruptors. Now, what do we mean by disruptor? It's very much just talking about companies that's developed a technology layer that's got a breakthrough in the way we think about things, in the way we perceive assets to be, the way we interact, the way we address, the way we communicate, collaborate. So when we look at it, when people look at it, they look at it first to say, I do get it, I do understand it, and I think it's too weird, I think it's too unusual. Well, I think that was the view in 1980, I don't think that's the view today. Who are these disruptors? Now we go through across companies that we all know and work with, or be either engaged with and collaborate. One being Bitcoin, they're the world's biggest bank. They don't have any actual cash. We have Alibaba, which is the most valuable retailer, yet they have no inventory. We've got Uber, it's the world's largest taxi company, yet they don't have any fleet of motor vehicles. We have Airbnb, which is the biggest accommodation provider, yet they don't own any real estate. Last, we have Facebook, which is the most popular media owner, yet they don't create their own content. So if you look at very much how does the consumer market change the way we brought technology into our business and delivering our services. Some of the stats that's being presented to us by OutSystems just very much show the change that businesses are making in order to adjust to this new trend and artificial layer to be part of either the disruption portion, which only 20% of companies are ready for disruption and prepared and can apply that. The relevance is only 25% of those companies are going to very much survive the disruption phase. We go through very much what is our disruption. Our disruption is not the technology stack. It's more about how we are changing our customers' behavior, and it's more about our relationship with the digital platform. What it also very much builds upon are 3 layers to become part of the ecosystem. Ecosystem meaning very much we're thinking outside of the traditional lines of business, and we're looking outside of the area of expertise of business. Our second layer is our focus on the unique expertise, which means our company is indispensable in this ecosystem, and we expect to work outside of our expertise areas. Our third layer is to ensure our operations are flexible enough, the agile approach, applying that in order to integrate and deliver going forward. Now, time has passed since 1980, Back to the Future. Things are happening at the speed of light. Just in 1 minute, 60 seconds, we can see the number of messages, we can see the number of communication flowing. All of those transactions, electronic, digital, artificial intelligence, everything that's built in order to make our lives easier and at a quite fast pace today. So just looking at those, some examples are Google, 3.5 million search queries in 60 seconds, 60 million text messages, 452,000 tweets, 120 new accounts created on LinkedIn, and 156 million emails sent. Half a my inbox. So when we talk about our digitalization aspect, we talk and we refer to a futurist who's called Hans Leonhardt. And he refers to this as digital transformation. Are you ready for exponential change? And the movie clip very much provide that detail for us.
Once upon a time, business as usual was often good enough. No more. Where we are going, good enough is dead. In a world where everything is connected, where everything is equally excellent, where performance is reaching perfection, there's only one space left to innovate in. You. Right now, you are a central point in the raging tornado of change fueled by digitization, mobilization, augmentation, disintermediation, automation. Well, the list goes on. Science fiction is becoming science fact. Think about self-driving cars and computers that can learn and think. The way we work will never be the same. The skills we need will be dramatically different. Winning or losing are now happening faster than ever before. So what's your response? How will you discover new opportunities in one of the most transformational times in human history? Are you driving change, or are you being driven by it? Disruption has become the new normal. With change, it's always gradually, then suddenly, well, things really have stopped happening gradually. This change is exponential. Everything that used to be dumb and disconnected is now wired and intelligent. Cars, cities, ports, farms, even our bodies will be wired with sensors and will talk to each other. These game changers are also combinatorial. They amplify each other, creating a perfect storm of change. Quantum computing fuels big data. The Internet of Things fuels artificial intelligence and deep learning, which fuels robotics. However, anything that cannot be digitized or automated will become extremely valuable. Human-only traits such as creativity, imagination, intuition, emotion, and ethics will be even more important in the future, because machines are very good at simulating, but not at being. Yes, robots and software will do some of our work. But this will allow us to focus on things that cannot be automated. To imagine change squared, you've got to start engaging more with what might be, not just with what is. Immerse yourself in the immediate future, 5 to 7 years out from today. We need to go beyond technology and data to reach human insights and wisdom. Technology represents the how of change, but humans represent the why. The future is about holistic business model. The opportunity is to be liquid, to learn just in time, not just in case, not single improvements, but complete transformations, not individual systems, but new ecosystems. Humanity is where true and lasting value is created. We will engage, rate, and buy things because of the experiences they provide, because of their transformative power. The future doesn't just happen, the future gets happened. The new way to work is to embrace technology, but not to become it. The future is in technology, yet the bigger future lies in transcending it. Let's live and lead from here.
Exciting stuff. So, our 3 volunteers, any hands, to join us for the amazing race. Please join me in the front. 2 more people. They are prizes. 3. I need 1 more. You need a woman. I need a lady, you're right.
So you're the one too?
Yeah. Please spread out the chairs and join me for the race. You can face the audience.
Yeah.
Perfect. So the objective of the exercise is to see very much how well we adapted with the technology that was brought to our doorstep in finding our way from our current destination, which is the DVT office in Cape Town, to our destination to be in Cape Town, Toit, Cape Point. So the exercise is very much for you to take you through the journey to get there and to very much provide me with some detail. For example, what's the distance that I need to travel? What are the traveling times? And is it a live option? Do we have alternative routes? Are there alerts and notifications or location-based services triggered to this? Do we add favorites or can we bookmark our event? And do we have location sharing and live traffic updates? So the challenge is a bit not fair to say. So in order for us to make this quite fair, we're going to share the ways of technology that we'll be using. So coming down first, I've got an iPad, and I think I need to do this gentleman. You are going to use Waze to get me to my destination. I've got a GPS, which I would like for you to use. And last but not least, I've got a map for you to use. Say, pretty swell. Okay, so guys, I want you to take 1 minute, see if you can get me from our current location to the Cape of Good Hope, Cape Point. You can just switch on before you start. The technology takes a while to start. Remember, the questions we're asking is travel distance, travel time, routes, notifications, any aspect of flights. Stop. Guys, are you coming right? You need GPS coordinates? What do you need? You need Wi-Fi. We have Wi-Fi. So if you had to put a big down, the GPS thing is going to get us to our destination first. So yes, it is. Just go to GPS. Nabu. Device with Waze application. And no internet. So we are 60 seconds in and already we have how many emails in our inbox? You guys have it right? How's it going, Michael? Talk us through it.
Your environment is very unresponsive.
Guys, we're using the chat to give us those answers. We have the answers. But for me, the exercise is about how to be human, how to interact correctly with the behaviors you've got. Guys, how's it going in that? You need the answers for us. Okay, so we've got our application going. So now we switch the thing back again. There you go. There's your application. No, you can just search. So we still stuck with the part of the job of the No, take this. Okay, I think all guys are looking up math class. Guys, perfectly continue here. While they're looking up for us in the room to get to their point, let's move on and we'll get back to them. But please put up your hands if you know time based. So you are. Remember our destination, Cape of Good Hope. Making your way there. Where are we? Around the corner in the parking lot?
They're still trying to get to the internet.
Is a guess good enough?
Okay, so did we fail? Did we pass the test? Did we get our answers? Or did we know our answer?
Well,
You know.
the maths can't do bookmarks. They can't give a GPS coordinate. They can't save information.
Can give you a bookmark with no post-it. Okay, so I think let's come to a conclusion. You didn't work with any of these devices. Should we still refer to the fact that technology is holding us back? I think it's all about humanity, adapting to change. Yet, we had technology that was outdated. We had enablers that we've used while we were growing up, our 1918 version of roadmaps, which you normally will follow, and then we'll stop at a garage to ask direction anyway. What it comes down to is having an app on my watch, having an app on my phone, using the Google Maps, having live data transition, make it available and accessible for us to take direction in any course and very much get to our destination. It does not hold us back to the understanding that we've got instinct of direction, we've got instinct about the destination, where we need to travel in distance. We as human beings need to step out of the fact that we're dependent on just the technology layer, but also bringing the understanding together that we enable the technology to bring us the answers that we expect it to be. Since we're not there yet, and I don't think we're going to leave the parking lot anytime soon. Okay. I'm going to give you guys a pass, and I'm going to move on and we'll get back to the prizes.
Thanks.
my 1 hour 22 minutes. It was my 63.9 kilometers or my alternate route of 72.6 kilometers. So if you use the mobile app, you'll get this location-based services that will pop up to say KFC around the next corner, motor vehicle accident, while they're using alternative route. Example, traffic cops, stay alert. So moving into the fact that we have proven that we can work with our technology to understand our destination. We're going to close off the session by running another very much short film on Hart, and it's all about being the human, being the future of technology and bringing it together. Very much the provocative around the future and the topic of that we foresee the future to be.
We are at a pivot point in history. Humanity will change more in the next 20 years than in the 300 years before. Technology is now the defining factor of our society. We will be able to travel virtually to the most amazing places directly from our living room or using our mobile devices. Billions of devices and objects will be connected in the Internet of Things. Soon, technology is moving inside of us, becoming a part of us. Our contact lenses will be connected to the Internet, and nanobots will be in our bloodstreams, fixing our cholesterol. Life will be magical, abundant, full of possibilities. What could be better? Because we know, don't we, that what makes us human will never change. I know what you're thinking. Connectivity is like oxygen. We need it to live. Even at the price of losing our privacy. Your connected car, your smart fridge, your wearables will talk to your doctor and your insurance company. Yes, indeed. Data is the new oil. These exponential changes are unstoppable. Man and machine will converge. We are about to transcend humanity. Is it creepy or useful? Is it heaven or is it hell? What will it mean to be human in a world where everyone will need to be amplified or augmented by algorithms? By 2027, computers are likely to match the capacity of the human brain, perhaps even reach some kind of awareness or emotional intelligence. Yes, artificial intelligence and cognitive computing are incredibly powerful. But if we fail to consider the unintended consequences, such as, for example, an intelligence explosion, these advances could be more dangerous than nuclear weapons. Why would we expect robots or artificial intelligence to share or even understand human values, ethics, and emotions? Technology doesn't have ethics, but the future of humanity depends on it. We need to spend just as much time on the norms and the values and the context than we spend on technology itself. After all, the future is not just something that happens to us, the future is something that we create. Are you ready for your future shock? Come with me and see where the story takes us next.
Please go have a look online. His mini films or his short films are just very creative and quite futuristic about what we can expect life to be like in the future. Thanks everyone. If you have any questions, my series is standing ready for you.
How does this link back to testing, guys? What's the take home with regards to testing?
For me, it's about we all sit down, we all face the user story, we all face the requirement, we all face the integration, we all face the environment, the test data, we all face realistic facts when we're sitting in our meeting and doing our work. You need to step up or out of that environment 99% of the time and understand what you feel and understand what D365 means to be. We are all directed and just always referring to specs. We always say we don't have enough documentation. We always say there's no information or integration information available to us. You need to step out and sometimes have the understanding of the bigger world and how things fit together and make sense of what's expected again of